You guys, welcome back. And today we'll discuss the lecture. This is the lecture number 8 and chapter number 2. And this is Foundation in Audit. We have already started the professional ethics chapter number 2. And today we'll discuss some part of the independent standard. We have already started this topic. Now today we are going to start total piece. And total piece we will discuss fee dependency. Right. So when the total piece generated by audit client represent a large proportion of a firm, the firm total fees, the dependence on the concern about potential loss of P increase the self-interest threat and creates intimidation threat. So what does that mean? A P dependency. Imagine you are running an audit firm and one client pay you a huge amount of money that it makes up a big chunk of your total income. Now you might be wondering, why is that a problem? Well, think about it. If that client leaves, so your firm finances take a big hit. Naturally, you start worrying too much about keeping them happy, and that is called a self-interest threat. Self-interest threat. Because your own financial interest could influence how independent you are. And here is another angle. Suppose the client realize how much you depend on them. Once the client realizes that how much you depend on them, they might start pressuring you. They will pressurize you. Do this way we want, or we will take our business elsewhere. And that is intimidation. Okay. So this is another angle, which is intimidation threat. So you feel pushed to compromise your independence just to keep them. Now, let's discuss about this thing in a very detail. The level of threats will depend on factors. We have to discuss the factors. First, the seriousness of this threat depends on the structure of the firm. A small firm with only a few clients is much more vulnerable than a big diversified firm. What I'm saying, that the structure of the firm will show you the seriousness of this threat. How? For example, a small firm with only a few clients is much more vulnerable than a big diversified firm, because the big firm have revenue, they will generate revenue from different sources. But for a small firm, if one client leaves, then it will hit the revenue. So that is why the structure of the firm will determine the seriousness of the threat. The second one is, it depends on whether the firm is expected to diversify. If you spread your services across many clients, dependence reduces. But if one client dominates every revenue, the threat is higher. So let me explain that again. The more eggs you put in one basket, the more worried you will be if that basket breaks. And here is something student often miss. Even if the firm overall is independent, sometimes one partner or one office of the firm relies heavily on a single client. Okay? So that also creates the same problem, self-interest and intimidation at that level. So don't just think about the whole firm, think about a smaller unit inside the firm too. Clear? So what we have understand here, that the two type of threats will create. The first one is self-interest threat, and the second one is intimidation threat. When you are too much dependent on your client for financial purpose, for money, for P. Now you might be wondering, does this really happen in practice? Yes, it does. Imagine a local audit office where one big company in town gives them most of their revenue. So that office will naturally feel pressure to keep that client happy, even if it means compromising independence. So this is very important, because independence is the backbone of auditing. If independence is lost, the audit lost credibility. So you have to understand that P dependency means that one client dominates income. Threats means self-interest, which means that fear of losing. Intimidation means that client pressure. And factor we have discussed firm structure. We discussed the firm structure plus that of diversification. So these are the factors. And you have also understand that if you understand this concept clearly, then you will be able to tackle the MCQs in the paper. So let me recap it quickly. Peer dependency happens when one client contributes a large proportion of your firm income. This creates self-interest and intimidation threat because you depend too much on that client. And I have told you the seriousness depends on the firm structure and whether it diversifies. And remember, even one partner or office being dependent on a single client can create the same risk. So that's the essence of peer dependency. Look at it this way: the more you rely on one client, the more your independence is at risk. Clear? Now let's discuss another topic, and that is the public interest entity. Public interest entity. I hope you have understand the peer dependency. Now let me move to the another subtopic of this topic, the total piece. And now we have to talk about the public interest entity, which we call PI. Okay. So first question. The first question is, what exactly is a PI? Think of it this way. A PI mean public interest entities is either a listed company like one trading on the stock exchange, or any entity that the law or regulations say must follow the same independence rules is listed company. Now you might be wondering, why are these entities treated differently? Simple answer is because the public relies heavily on their financial statement. Banks, insurance company, big financial institution. If their audits are not independent, the whole system loses trust. So here is the definition. If you see, defined by regulation or legislation is a public interest entity, or required by regulation or legislation to be audited with the same independence requirement that apply to the listed one. So I have told you that PI is either a listed company, mean like one trading on the stock exchange, or any entity that the law or regulation says must follow the same independence rules is listed company. Clear? Now let's move on to the peer dependency rule for this public interest entity. Suppose your audit firm has one PI client, public interest entity client, and for 2 consecutive years, the P from the client are more than 15%. How much? More than 15%. If you show, let me show you here, this one, more than 15% of your firm total P's. Wait, what does that actually means? Imagine your firm earns 100 million in total P's, and one PI client alone pays you 20 million. That is more than 15%. That is more than 15%. Clear? So this creates serious independence threat. So before you issue the audit opinion for the second year, you must ask, should we apply a safeguard? The safeguard here is the pre-issuance review. The pre-issuance review. Clear? Basically, another professional review your audit works before it's finalized. Think of it like a second pair of eyes making sure independence isn't compromised. But here is the strict part, that if this situation continue for 5 years, the firm must resign after the 5th year. The firm must resign after the 5th year. Yes, stop being the auditor. Why? Because by then, dependence on their client is too high and independence is no longer credible. Now you might be thinking, is there any exception? Yes, but only one. Let me show you. The only exception to this requirement if a regulatory professional body in the relevant jurisdiction agrees that there is compelling reason to continue having regard to the public interest. If the regulator in that jurisdiction agree that there is a compelling reason in the public interest for the firm to continue, then the firm may stay on. But even then, from the 6th year onward, a pre-issuance review must be performed every single year. A pre-issuance review is performed before the audit opinion is issued on the 6th and subsequent year. Okay, so what you have to understand here, that 2 years in a row, let me write it. 2 years in a row, piece is greater than 15%, then safeguard with a review. 5 years in a row and fees greater than 15% resign as auditor. And there is an exception that a regulator allow continuation, but review is mandatory. So you have to remember this for your MCQ's purpose. 2 years in a row, fees greater than 15%, safeguard with a review. 5 years in a row, fees greater than 15%, resign as an auditor. And there is exception. If regulator allow continuation, then review is mandatory every year. Clear? So what we have understand about the PI, that listed entity are defined by the law. The threshold we have discussed that fees greater than 15% for 2 years, then 5 issuance are review. And 5-year rules must resign after 5 years. An exception is there. Regulator allow continuation plus mandatory review. So let me give you a quick recap that public interest entity are listed companies or entities defined by law is a public interest. Now, if fees from one PI client exceed 15% of your firm total fees for 2 years, you need a safeguard, a pre-issuance review. If it continues for 5 years, you must resign unless the regulator allows you to continue in the public interest with a strict review every year. Okay, so this is very important because most students get confused between the 2-year safeguard rule and 5-year resignation rule. Keep this flow in mind. 2-year review, 5-year resign, exception, regulator plus review every year. Let me write it here because this is a very important topic. You have to, let me do it here. Okay, first let me erase this. I will just write the flow because this flow is very important for MCQ's purpose and you will have to remember this. Okay, you will have to remember this. The first one we have discussed. Wait. Okay, this is 2 years, then you will have a review. 5 years, then resign. Clear? Exception, then there is regulator plus review every year. Clear? Okay, now let's move on to another topic, and that is not public interest entity. Yes, here. Not public interest entity. This one, let me use this color. P dependency, not PI. Okay, so we already discussed public interest entity, whereas the rules are stricter. But what happens when the client is not a PI, not a public interest entity? So here's a situation. Suppose you are auditing a non-listed company, but that clients pay you such a large amount of fees that it make up a big chunk of your firm total income, just like with a PI. So this creates a self-interest threat because you depend too much on that client, and possibly an intimidation threat if the client starts pressuring you. Now, what's the threat? What's the threshold for non-PI? If for 5 consecutive year, the total fees from one non-PI client represent more than 30% of your firm total fee. How much? 30%. If it represents more than 30% of your firm total fees, so you must take action. So what action is required? Number 1. Prior to issuing the audit opinion for the 5th year, a professional accountant who is not a member of the firm review that year audit work. This means that before issuing the audit opinion for the 5th year, you need a professional accountant who is not a member of your firm to review that year audit work. Alternatively, after the 5th year, audit opinion has been issued, and before the 6th year, the professional accountant review the 5th year audit. So after the 5th year audit opinion has been issued, but before the 6th year audit begin, you can have an external professional review the 5th year audit work. Okay, so what we have to understand here, if one non-PI client dominate your firm income for 5 years straight, you must bring an outside review to check your audit work, and this safeguard reduce the threat to independence. Now you might be wondering that why 5 years? Think about it. 1 year or 2 years could be coincidence, but 5 years in a row mean this dependency is long term and serious. So that is why the safeguard kicks in at that point. Let me explain again. 5 years in a row, fees from one non-FI client is greater than or exceed 30% of the total from P. The safeguard will be external professional review either before issuing the PIP opinion or before starting the 6-year audit. So what we have understand here, the threshold for non-FI Ps, that the non-FI Ps exceed 30% for 5 years, the threat will be self-interest plus intimidation, and safeguard will be external reviewer before PIP opinion or before 6 year. So what we have discussed till now, that peer dependency for the non-FI become a problem when one client contribute more than 30% of your firm fees for 5 consecutive years. And this creates self-interest and intimidation threats. The safeguard is to bring an external professional to review the audit work either before issuing the 5th year's opinion or before starting the 6th-year audit. Okay, so this way you can understand the thing, and in the next lecture we'll discuss the other topic. Okay, so thank you for watching.